What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. Today's episode, or what I'm going to do today, a little bit different. Actually, I've done this before, but there's a new little feature inside a card hedger that we're going to show you today. And I've been just really thinking the last couple of days, I'm getting some SGC cards back. And if you guys haven't seen the other video, I sent off some football to be graded at SGC. Very kind of out of character for me, strictly to get them graded, have them go up in value, and then sell them so I can kind of fund some other stuff that I want to do here. And I was really just kind of looking around thinking, and, I'm obviously going to go with PSA. I really don't. I'm not going to go with PSA. I'm going to go with SGC. I really don't feel like spending $150 or what is it now, $100 a card. I think it's $150 is the cheapest one. I really got to thinking as to why that is, right? Obviously, I from a trust standpoint, I really don't trust PSA to grade the cards accurately. And then even now, I think PSA is, for their $150 service, I think it's like 60 days or close to 75 days to get your cards back. And that's at $150 a card. SGC is still at $30 a card. Their turnaround time is roughly about 30 calendar days is what it panned out to be for this last order that I did. So I just really got to looking at a bunch of different things, and some of the cards that I got back, I've already looked at the grades. Some of them gemmed, some of them didn't. But my intention was to send them and get them graded so that I can sell them, resell them, and make some cash. Now, that being said, I really started to think about one of the reasons why I think PSA is really lacking, and PSA really is going to need to do something about what I'm going to talk about here. And that is the fact that PSA does not have a mid-grade for a gem quality card. What do I mean by that? Well, PSA doesn't have, they go straight from, it's 8.5, 9, 10. That's it. Whereas SGCs, BGS, HGAs, they have different tiers of what could potentially be a gem mint card. That allows a lot of flexibility within the grade of a card, right? So PSA, they either have to pick 9 or 10. And unfortunately, if you're closer to the bottom end of that 9, you're going to get a 9 every time. There's so much subjectivity within the confines of a 9 and a 10. There's so many different things that can happen. And if PSA were to offer a 9.5, or even offer a 9.5, and then also offer a 10, immaculate, or whatever they want to call it, much in the way of the BGS Black Label, the HGA Flawless, the SGC Gold Label 10 Pristine. I think that would open up so much more for them, and it would really alleviate a lot of the grading issues that I feel SGC has at the moment. And I'm going to show you some stuff here. Big shout out to cardhedger.com. My man JD over at Card Hedge. I kind of gave him, he was asking for a little feedback on some of this stuff, which is one of the reasons why I haven't really done this video, because I was kind of having some trouble with the website and their app that they have for looking up card value. But they jumped on it right away, got it fixed right away, and now I'm able to do this video. So I'm going to go through a couple of things because I want to look at essentially what's going to happen in a scenario if you send a card and it doesn't gem. Okay. Obviously, if it gets a 10, PSA 10 and BGS 10s, and even SGC 10 pristines and 10s, they're going to go for top dollar. But what ended up happening to me is that there was a handful of cards that I thought were going to gem, at least get a 10, that ended up getting a 9 or a 9.5. And I thought to myself, if I would have sent those to PSA, what would have been the difference, right? If I would have sent them to PSA and they would have got a PSA 9 versus me sending them to SGC and having them get an SGC 9.5, I started to think about, well, what's the price difference in value there? And so that kind of was what prompted me to do all of this and get all this together. So And this is kind of one of the reasons why I think PSA really needs to, move towards giving some sort of a mid-grade between a 9 and a 10. So let's jump into it. So again, big shout out to Card Hedger. Make sure that I'm not blocking anything here. Let's do this. Make myself a little smaller. All right. So the first thing that I looked at was this Kobe Bryant. And so what I have up on the screen here is this is Card Hedger. They have this great comparator tool where I can compare two different cards, or in this case, the same card, different grades. And so what I have pulled up here in this chart is a 6-month overview of the sales of a Kobe Bryant Topps. This is just base in a PSA 9 and an SGC 9.5. The SGC 9.5 is in the kind of the pinkish, and then the PSA 9 is in the purple. And so I really think that a lot of the cards that you'll get back from PSA, if they don't gem, because getting them a gem right now is really tough, especially on junk wax era basketball. They're really, really strict and really, really tough on these cards. They don't really gem a whole lot. And so chances are what you're going to end up getting back is either a 9 or an 8 or something like that. Whereas SGC, where maybe some of those 9s probably could have been 10s, but there's not really a lot of wiggle room there. Whereas if they had a 9.5, they could probably give you a 9.5 because your card was like a 9.4, or it wasn't exactly a 10, but it was a little stronger than a 9, but they don't have a mid-grade, so they're just going to slap a 9 on it. And this is what it comes out to in terms of values. Now, one of the things I will say is that if you look at just the PSA, which is in the purple, there's a lot more like up and down, up and down, up and down, because there's a lot more sales of a PSA 9 over a 6-month period. But however, the SGC 9.5s do sell, and when they do sell, they sell more. They sell for more than a PSA 9. And my point here is that I think some of those PSA 9s could have been potentially PSA 9.5s if that was an option. Or if you crack and resub, you can PSA 9. A PSA 9 could very much be either a SGC 9.5 or an SGC 10 even. That's how much I don't really have much faith in PSA in terms of grading at the moment. And also, if you had this card right now and you said, hey man, this is a nice card, I have it, I really want to sell it, I can sell it raw for a couple $100, or I can send it off to get graded and potentially sell it for more. And in this case, if you're looking to send it off to get graded, well, SGC charges $30 for a 30-day turnaround. PSA is charging $150 for what is essentially a 60 to 70-day turnaround. And you're going to pay $150 for that grade. And if you're not sure that it's going to, even for sure, you're betting the farm that it's going to come back at 10, because this thing is just pristine. If you know that there's some flaw there and you're potentially saying, man, this is a beautiful card, except it's a little off center, or, there's a slight ding on a corner or on an edge or something like that, and it's not going to gem, then your best bet is to send them off to SGC and get them graded, because you're going to get more money for an SGC 9.5 than you would a PSA 9. And as I'm talking about that, let me add a SGC 9. Let's see what those prices are. So even an SGC 9, yeah, you're still, it's a couple $100 less than by $200 less. But my point here is that they're all relatively within a couple of $100 of each other. And with PSA, you're going to spend $150, and with SGC, you're just going to spend $30. You're going to wait half the time. So this is one example. Another example that I brought up is Big Chungus, Big Zion Williams. That really sucks what's going on with him right now, because that dude is probably, he came in hot, and he could potentially be still really good. Let me see, SGC 9. So this is the beauty about this tool. I love it. I love their compare tool, because I can add the same card in different grades, And this is great. If you guys want to sign up for this, I have a link down in the description. I love this. This is this is the tool that I use for all my card pricing. So links in the description. You guys can check it out there. But again, same thing here, right? Zion Williams 2019 Panini Prism rookie card. This is just the base card. A PSA 9 130, SGC 9.5 130, selling for about the same, and a SGC 9 selling for about $100 or about $30 less. And it's pretty much staying that way. I mean, a couple of sales, a little lower, a little higher, a little lower, a little higher. But for the most part, I mean, you're going to spend $150 to send the card. And unless you know for a fact it's going to gem, I mean, you lost money because it's only selling for $125. When you can sell it, send it to SGC for $30, get it back in 30 days. If you get a 9.5, then great. You can make a little money off of it. I also pulled up Patrick Mahomes. Let's see, SGC 9. Nope, not 6, 9. And then add it to the compare. And then it pops up, refreshes. This is awesome. I love it. Shout out to Card Hedge. Cardhedger.com. I got a link in the description. If you sign up, it kicks back a little bit to the channel if you guys are so inclined to do so. So this is a 6-month outlook. And again, PSA 9 going for about 700, SGC 9.5 going for roughly about the same, and an SGC 9 for roughly about the same. Actually, SGC 9 is about $100 less. But again, you're spending $30 to send the card off to get graded. And this is where I think that PSA is really missing the mark, because if PSA had a PSA 9.5, I guarantee you that a PSA 9.5 would outsell an SGC 9.5. Absolutely. I 100% agree. Believe that a PSA 9.5, if they had one, would outsell an SGC 9.5. Again, if let's say that if that card would have came back a PSA 10, well then yeah, there's no comparison, right? I mean, a PSA 10, $1,800, right? But again, if it doesn't come back a 10, you're hosed, and chances are, more often than not, they're not coming back 10s, especially with something like this. I also pulled up Mike Trout, kind of the same thing. You guys know me; I don't know jack about baseball. I mean, my Astros just lost, and that's kind of where my involvement in baseball ends. However, I do know that Mike Trout rookie cards are kind of highly coveted. And again, SGC 9.5 is $1,300. PSA 9 is $1,400. And you're spending $150 to grade one, $30 to grade the other. So the last one that I pulled up was the Jordan Fleer 86 Fleer. Just because I wanted to throw a little vintage in there. But again, same story, right? 26, 27,000, 26, 27,000. And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to get upcharged with SGC on that one also. I know PSA is going to upcharge you out the wazoo. Let me see here. What would be declared value? So this would be 25. So it'd be $500 here. Actually, it'd be $500 no matter what. It's a 1 to 3 day turnaround. Yeah, PSA is going to charge you out the wazoo to grade a 86 Fleer. SGC will charge you $500. So again, my point here really being that I just feel like PSA is missing the mark by not adding the 9.5 to their list of grades. And then, I mean, just imagine what an 86 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card would do if it was a PSA 10 Immaculate, or whatever they want to call what is to be considered a perfect card. Because let's face it, there's some PSA 10s out there that are not perfect cards. They're just not. And, to sit there and have that be the highest grade that can be given by a company that is supposed to be the best in the industry, I think that's kind of it's a shortcoming for them, and they really need to evolve with the times, and they haven't. One of the things that PSA hasn't done very well is adapted to change and adapted to, the current times. They still have the same hospital wristband labels that they've had since the early 90s. They haven't changed that. They've added some additional securities, and that's great. That's something that I'm going to get into in another video, which I think is great. But again, still, it's not a very appealing look. And that's a matter of aesthetics, right? But my point here is that they haven't really changed. And when SGC came around and they were offering the half grades, that would have been a perfect opportunity for them to start, giving that out, giving out 9.5s, giving out 10 pristines or immaculates or whatever they want to call it, or flawless or whatever. Man, that would have just done so much for the brand, for the company as a whole. Now, I understand logistically it probably would have raised a bunch of questions, a bunch of people. But, I mean, hell, from a business standpoint, that would have been great for them, because if you had a PSA 10 and something that you knew was a flawless card, and all of a sudden PSA is offering a flawless, a grade, then, resubmit it. And if you get a flawless grade, then boom, you just 10x your card or whatever the case may be. But I just really think they're missing the mark. And I really hope that, with this new management and these new people running the company, that they're really going to look towards offering some of that in the future, because I think it would really put them head and shoulders above the rest of the companies. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. All I wanted to show, because it's been on my mind for a while. And also, again, big shout out to Card Hedger. I have an affiliate link down below if you guys want to sign up. It kicks a little bit back to the channel. It's just a great tool. I love it. They have a dashboard. They have a whole collection. You can track your whole collection on there. You can add all your cards. They have thousands and thousands of cards, not only from eBay. I think they're doing card stocks. They're pulling from a bunch of different sources. So check out their website, cardhedger.com. Use the link in the description. It helps the channel out. So that's it. I hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys let me know what you think. I mean, am I crazy? Would adding a 9.5 to PSA just ruin their credibility? What do you guys think it would do? Because I really don't see a downside for them, or for the hobby for that matter, if they were to implement a half grade in the 9 and then added what would be considered a flawless card. I'm curious to get you guys' opinion. I really am. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I got a bunch of stuff coming out. Our SGC order already popped. It's on its way back, both mine and my man Peter's. Our TGT order is getting slabbed up right now. That's on its way back. So I'll be doing a video on the reveal for those grades in the next week or so, next few days. We have the torture tests for the slabs that I'm still working on. Also, we're going to do a in-depth review of the labels. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So a bunch of stuff coming. So also have some boxes on the way that we're going to break. What else? That's it. Love you guys. I appreciate it so much, you guys watching. Leave me a comment, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram. All that good stuff. Love y'all. Peace.